Discovery of a strange signal received by NASA Deep Space Monitoring Station. Night. Dr. Elena Marks, lead astrophysicist; Jack Harper, communications specialist; Dr. Raj Patel, cryptologist. The camera pans over the sleek, high-tech NASA monitoring station nestled deep in the mountains. A hum of equipment and blinking lights fills the air. Dr. Elena Marks sits at a console, her eyes fixed on the screen showing a cryptic, repeating signal. Elena, grumbling to herself as she types, "This doesn't make any sense." "Where are you coming from?" Jack, sitting beside her, sipping coffee. "What's going on?" "Another satellite glitch." Elena, her voice tense. "No. This is something different. This signal, it's not random. It's too structured." "Jack, structured? I thought we already ruled out any potential pulsing or static from known objects." "We've got plenty of noise from pulsars and quasars, but this one." He squints at the data on the screen. "It's like a code." Elena, pointing at the screen, her fingers trembling slightly. "Exactly. It's too perfect. Pulses are spaced at regular intervals, like someone or something is deliberately sending this out. But to what end? There's no source we can identify." The screen flashes again, displaying a new set of coordinates. Elena freezes for a moment, her heart racing. "Elena, wait a minute. These coordinates. They're pointing to a star system in the Oort cloud." "Jack, no way. That's light years away." "Are you sure this is right?" Elena checks the data again, her brow furrowing. "I'm certain. But why would anyone or anything send a signal from that far out?" Suddenly, a low, eerie hum begins to emanate from the equipment, the sound growing louder by the second. Jack, leaning back, rubbing his neck. "That's not normal." Elena, eyes wide, muttering under her breath, "It's getting stronger." "That's not just interference. It's trying to reach us." The hum reaches a crescendo before abruptly stopping. The room falls into an unsettling silence. Jack, shivering, "Okay, I've had enough of that. You're telling me we've just received a message from the edge of our solar system? Is this some kind of joke?" Elena shakes her head, voice barely above a whisper. "No, Jack. This is real." First contact to NASA control room. Day. The camera transitions to a large conference room, where Elena, Jack, and Dr. Patel sit, awaiting the arrival of Agent Laura Hayes, a government liaison. Tension fills the room as they discuss the implications of the signal. Patel, enthusiastically pacing, a slight twinkle in his eye. "I've been running the signal through several decryption algorithms. There's no way this is a random noise burst." "I'm telling you, this is a message." Elena, skeptically, "A message from who? Or what?" Patel, his excitement growing, "I don't know yet. But the pattern is deliberate. I'm convinced the signal is encoded with something more than just data. The more I analyze it, the more it feels like a language." The doors open, and Agent Laura Hayes walks in, her posture rigid, exuding authority. Her sharp gaze scans the room before she speaks. "Hayes," with a calm but stern voice, "I've been briefed on the situation. Let me guess, you're trying to figure out who or what is sending the signal." Elena, nodding. "Yes, but it's more than just that. It's not only coming from the Oort cloud, it's amplifying." "Jack, amplifying? What does that mean?" Elena, looking uneasy. "It means the signal isn't just a one-time thing. It's getting stronger. And now it's not just a message, it's a call." Hayes pauses, a hint of concern in her eyes. "A call? From where? Or from what?" Patel, glancing at Elena, then back at Hayes, "We're still trying to figure that out, but the coordinates it's pointing to, they've never been explored. There's no record of any civilization in that region." Hayes, narrowing her eyes, "You think it's alien?" Elena sighs, her voice laced with caution. "It's hard to say. But the pattern, its structure, it's far too precise to be a natural phenomenon." There's an awkward silence. Hayes leans forward, clearly unsettled. "Hayes," sternly, "we need to be careful. I don't need to remind you about the potential risks here. This could be more than just a discovery. We could be opening a door that should stay shut." The growing mystery in NASA laboratory. Night. Later that evening, Elena and Patel sit in a dimly lit lab, analyzing the signal. A strange sense of dread fills the room as the signal's intensity seems to pulse in time with their heartbeats. Elena rubs her eyes, clearly exhausted, Elena, muttering to herself as she scrolls through the data. What are you trying to say, Patel? His voice distant, almost reverential. What if it's not just trying to communicate? What if it's a warning? Elena, looking up sharply. A warning, Patel. We've always thought of space as a vast, empty place, but what if we're wrong? What if it's not just a message, but an alert? A cautionary tale from someone or something that's trying to survive, Elena, skeptically, but with a touch of dread. Survive? From what? The signal intensifies on the monitor, as if in answer. A strange, haunting whisper echoes through the loudspeakers, barely audible at first. Whispering voice, distorted, garbled, it's coming. Beware. It's coming, Patel, eyes wide, recoiling slightly. Did you hear that? Elena, nervously glancing around. I did. What is that? Is it part of the signal, Patel? His voice trembling. I don't know. But it feels like a warning. Like it's telling us something we don't want to know. The camera cuts to a shot of the night sky through the window of the NASA facility. The stars twinkle eerily, and the hum of the signal grows louder, as if reaching out to something beyond their comprehension. Escalation. This is where the story starts to become more intense, the supernatural elements take center stage, and the true horror begins to unfold. The team is still trying to decode the signal, but as they progress, they realize that it's having more than just a scientific effect, it's starting to affect their minds, their environment, and their reality itself. Escalation, the signal's growing influence. The scene opens in the control room, where the team gathers around the main terminal. The signal's intensity has increased, and strange static fills the room. Elena, eyes glued to the screen, furrowing her brow, the frequency is getting higher. It's almost like it's trying to communicate in a different way. Jack, leaning over her shoulder, his usual confidence gone. Yeah, and it's also interfering with the equipment. I can barely hear myself think. Patel, fiddling with his console, excited but nervous. It's not just interference. It's deliberately bypassing our technology. Whatever is sending this is sophisticated, way beyond anything we've ever encountered. Hayes appears in the doorway, her expression unreadable. Have you made any progress in pinpointing the source? Elena, exasperated. Not yet. It's too erratic. But I'm getting the sense that the signal is alive, like it's learning from our responses. Suddenly, the signal intensifies, and a strange pattern begins to appear on the screen, something almost human. Or something trying to be. A series of distorted shapes flicker and morph into what could almost be described as a face, before vanishing. Jack, eyes wide, stepping back. Did anyone else see that? Patel, voice quivering. I saw it. There was something in that pattern. It looked like a face. Elena, staring at the screen, unnerved but trying to maintain her composure. It's not just random static. There's something there, and it's watching us. The room falls into a tense silence, each person unsure of what to make of the event. Then, a low hum fills the air again, and a distant whisper can be heard in the background, almost unintelligible but unmistakably present. Whispering voice, soft, distorted. You shouldn't have found me. Hayes, eyes narrowing, a chill running through her. What the hell is that? The paranoia sets in. NASA break room. Night. The scene shifts to the break room, where the team tries to take a moment to breathe. But the tension is palpable. The atmosphere feels heavier, oppressive. Jack paces restlessly, glancing nervously at the door every few seconds. Elena sits at the table, rubbing her temples, trying to focus despite a rising sense of dread. Jack, shaking his head, I'm telling you, something isn't right here. That signal, it's messing with our heads. Elena, sighing, trying to ignore the sensation of being watched. I know. It feels like we're being pulled in. Like it's luring us. Patel, staring blankly at his coffee cup, his eyes hollow. I don't know how much more of this I can take. I keep hearing things, whispers. I swear, I saw something in the hallway just now. Jack pauses, his eyes darting nervously. Yeah. I saw something too. But I thought I was just tired. Suddenly, a loud bang comes from down the hallway. All three of them jump, the quiet hum of the signal now louder in their ears. Almost like a drumbeat in their skulls. Elena, standing up abruptly. What the hell was that? Jack, voice trembling. I don't know. But I'm starting to think that signal isn't just a message. It's doing something to us. The creeping hallucinations, NASA hallways, late night, the team walks cautiously down the dark hallways of the NASA facility. The hum of the signal is louder than ever, its frequency almost unbearable. Shadows stretch unnaturally in the dim light, and every corner feels like something is just out of view, watching them. Patel, his voice shaking, barely above a whisper. Do you guys feel that? It's like the air is heavier. Jack, looking behind him nervously. It's not just the air, Raj. It's like the walls are closing in on us. Elena pauses, trying to shake off the growing anxiety. It's just the stress. The signal is affecting us mentally. We're hallucinating. Suddenly, the door at the end of the hallway creaks open on its own. Elena steps forward, compelled by an inexplicable pull. Jack, grabbing her arm. Elena, wait. Don't, but it's too late. She enters the dark room. The others follow reluctantly, their nerves on edge. The room is completely dark, save for the flickering light of a single computer monitor. Elena, whispering, barely audible, This isn't right. The monitor flickers to life on its own. The signal pulses on the screen, more aggressive than before. This time, the face is clearer. It's not a human face, it's alien, monstrous, with eyes that seem to pierce into the depths of their souls. Whispering voice, louder, more distorted, I am everywhere. The room seems to close in around them. A cold wind blows through the room, though there are no open windows. Suddenly, the walls start to bleed black oil-like substance, dripping onto the floor. Jack, backing away, terrified, oh God, it's not just a signal. It's some kind of entity. Patel, stumbling backward, no, it can't be. We can't be in its realm. We haven't even made contact. Elena, eyes wide, whispering in disbelief, it's trying to cross over. The signal. It's a doorway, government intervention and secrecy. NASA Command Center. Day, Agent Hayes returns to the facility to assess the escalating situation. She's visibly more tense than before, her phone buzzing constantly with messages she refuses to acknowledge. Elena and Jack are on edge, barely holding it together after the events of the previous night. Hayes, in a low, authoritative voice, we need to get this under control. Now, Elena, desperately, you don't understand. The signal is opening a gateway. If we don't shut it down now, it'll be too late. Hayes, shaking her head, trying to maintain control, you're talking about theories. You've lost contact with reality. Jack, angrily, and how do you explain the face on the screen? The whispers in our heads? You think this is just a coincidence? Patel, weakly, we're not crazy, Agent Hayes. There's something. Something from another world trying to break through. Hayes stands still for a moment, her eyes flickering with doubt. She looks down at her phone, then makes a decision. Hayes, I'm taking this up with higher authorities. We're escalating the situation. Prepare yourselves. As Hayes walks out, Elena and the team exchange worried glances, knowing that this is only the beginning. The unraveling, where the horror intensifies as the true nature of the signal becomes clearer, and the boundaries between reality and the supernatural start to break down. In this part, the team's fear and desperation reach their peak, and they're forced to confront the horrifying truth about what they've unwittingly awakened. The unraveling, the signal's true nature revealed. Next day, NASA control room, early morning. The camera opens on the control room, where the team is exhausted, barely holding it together. The signal is now impossible to ignore. Its presence fills the entire facility. The once clear digital displays are now distorted, and the air feels thick with dread. Elena stares at the monitor, her eyes bloodshot and wide with terror. Elena, voice hoarse, trembling, It's not just a signal. It's a voice. Jack, looking sick, unable to sit still, I thought we were just hearing things. But it's getting louder. It's in my head, Elena. I can't get rid of it. Patel, glancing around nervously, it's everywhere. The walls, the ceiling. I can hear it in my bones. Hayes, watching the screen, an uncomfortable unease in her posture. What do you mean, a voice? This is just noise. Electrical feedback, Elena, shaking her head, unable to keep it together. No. It's not just noise anymore. It's speaking to us. It's trying to tell us something. Or something's coming through. The room suddenly grows colder, and the hum of the signal becomes almost unbearable. The monitor flashes to life again, and this time, the face appears clearly, even more horrifying than before. Its eyes wide, black voids filled with malice, whispering voice, louder, more distorted, vibrating the walls. I am everywhere. I am in the spaces between stars. You opened the door. Now you must listen. Hayes, stepping back, voice shaky. We've made a terrible mistake. Elena, falling to her knees, eyes wide with horror. It's not just a message. It's a summoning, the descent into madness. The team moves through the dark hallways of the facility, their footsteps echoing unnervingly in the silence. The walls seem to close in on them as the signal grows louder in their ears. It's impossible to ignore now. The signal is everywhere, inescapable, invasive. They all feel its presence, like a cold, oppressive weight pushing down on them. Jack, his voice strained, almost frantic, it's following us. I can't think. Every time I try to focus, it's like the signal. It's in me. Patel, his eyes wide and unblinking, speaking to himself as much as to the others. It's reaching us through everything. I can't even tell what's real anymore. Elena, grabbing Jack's arm, shaking him. Jack, you have to pull it together. If we don't get out of here. Suddenly, a loud crash echoes down the hallway, followed by a series of eerie whispers. The team stops in their tracks, terror flooding their faces. A figure emerges from the shadows, its movements jerky, unnatural. It's one of the scientists from earlier, but something is wrong. His eyes are black, his skin pale and stretched as if something is pulling him from the inside out. Scientist, in a distorted voice, it's coming. You're too late. It's already here. The figure collapses on the floor, twitching violently, his body convulsing as if being torn apart by some invisible force. Jack, backing away, horrified. No, what is happening to him? Elena, whispering, as if in a trance, it's taking us. The signal. It's not just a warning. It's an invasion. The figure lets out one final, bone-chilling scream before going silent, the grotesque transformation complete. The room falls eerily silent, the only sound the echo of the signal, now louder than ever. Reality begins to unravel. NASA Command Center night. The camera zooms in on the faces of the team members as they sit in the command center, the weight of the situation sinking in. They are no longer certain of anything. The final descent, the collapse of reality. In this part, the horrors reach their peak, and the characters are pushed to the absolute edge of their sanity. The true nature of the signal becomes fully apparent, and its consequences stretch far beyond anything they could have imagined. This act is a mix of psychological terror and existential dread, culminating in an uncertain, unsettling conclusion that leaves the viewer questioning what is real and what has been consumed by the entity. The final descent, the complete breakdown of reality, a dark, shifting void. The camera zooms in on a pitch-black void. Slowly, we see Elena's face, her eyes wide with terror. She is surrounded by nothing but darkness. Her breath quick and shallow, panic evident in her every movement. The voice, the entity, is still there, but now it's louder, more pervasive, filling the space around her like a living force. Whispering voice, deep, omnipresent. I am the beginning and the end. I exist beyond time, beyond space. You cannot escape me. Elena's hands tremble as she reaches out in the dark, trying to grasp anything solid, but her fingers pass through the empty air. Her reality is breaking apart, and she's losing herself to the signal. Elena, whispering, her voice breaking. What? What have I become? Is this real? Is any of it real? Her voice echoes, but there is no reply. The only sound is the ever-present hum of the signal. Now a deafening roar that seems to come from everywhere at once. Whispering voice, you are nothing. You are mine now. The return of the others. Dark, empty hallways of NASA facility. In an eerie silence, Jack and Patel stumble through the hallways of the now deserted NASA facility. The flickering lights above them cast long, unnatural shadows. The walls seem to stretch and bend at odd angles, as if the very structure of the building is warping in response to the signal's power. Jack, his voice shaky, almost a whisper, Patel. Where is everyone? Where did they go, Patel, his face pale, eyes darting nervously around. They're gone, Jack. They were all taken by it. This place. It's not real anymore. Suddenly, Agent Hayes appears from the shadows, her face expressionless but cold. Hayes, calmly, as if detached from the chaos, the signal is breaking us down. You're not the same. None of us are, Jack, shaking his head, voice desperate. No. You don't get it. We need to stop it. We need to shut it down before it consumes everything. Hayes, a hollow look in her eyes. It's already too late, Jack. It was always too late. The floor beneath them begins to ripple, like water disturbed by an unseen force. The building shakes, and the hum of the signal grows to an unbearable crescendo. The walls begin to crack, revealing an infinite, swirling darkness beyond. The boundaries of the building are disintegrating, and what was once solid now feels like it's part of a greater, horrifying void. The entity's true form, the final revelation, NASA control room, the collapse. The scene cuts to the control room once more, where Elena stands frozen in front of the main monitor. The screen flickers wildly, and the face of the entity, an indescribable, monstrous visage, appears once again. It seems to be growing, expanding beyond the limits of the screen. As if it is consuming the space around them, whispering voice, louder, more forceful, you open the door, and now you will never escape. This is the end of your world. The beginning of mine, Elena, her voice hoarse, barely a whisper. No, I can't. This can't be happening. What are you? What are you? The entity responds with a voice that shakes the very foundations of reality, deep and guttural, reverberating in Elena's mind. Entity, I am everything and nothing. I am the signal. I am the void between stars. I have existed long before your kind, and I will exist long after you have crumbled to dust. The air around them grows thick and suffocating, as if reality itself is being consumed by this malevolent force. Elena tries to move, but her body feels as if it's rooted in place. Jack and Patel appear next to her, but they are no longer fully themselves, faint, twisted versions of their former selves, eyes hollow and empty. Jack, his voice distorted, we're already lost. It's too late, Elena. There's no escape, Patel, his voice broken, barely audible. It's taking us all. We were never meant to find it. We were never meant to know. The control room begins to shake violently, and the walls crack open to reveal the same endless void that Elena now understands is not a physical space, it is the space between everything. The gap between dimensions, between realities. It is the space where the entity resides, and it is breaking through, filling their world with its darkness. The final choice, a desperate attempt, a warped reality. The final moments of the story take place in a distorted, half-reality where Elena is alone, walking through an endless, twisted version of the NASA facility. The lights flicker and fade, and the world around her bends, as though it is slowly being undone. The entity's voice is now constant in her mind, drowning out all other thoughts. Entity, calm, overpowering, you cannot fight me. You cannot stop me. You are nothing, Elena, screaming, grasping her head in agony. No. I won't let you take me. I won't let you win. She falls to her knees, tears streaming down her face, as the world around her collapses further. The space warps and twists, fragments of memories flashing before her eyes, images of routine, the people she knew, all now swallowed by the darkness of the void. The signal continues to pulse in her ears, like a heartbeat, rhythmic and unavoidable, whispering voice, growing stronger, merging with the void itself. It is too late, Elena. There is no more time. The door is open, and I have crossed. I am everywhere. Now, Elena raises her head, and in her final act of defiance, she presses the emergency shutdown on the console, sending out a final signal, a desperate cry to the world. To anyone who might be listening, the conclusion, the endless echo, unknown, Elena, only her voice. The final shot is of Elena, standing in a vast and infinite void. There are no other people, no walls, no ground, just an endless blackness. The signal pulses one final time, and Elena's voice echoes in the distance, fading away slowly. Elena, whispering, a haunting realization in her voice, "It's over." The signal, it never ends. The screen fades to black, and the voice of the entity continues to reverberate in the silence. Entity, echoing softly in the distance, "I am everywhere. And I will never leave." The collapse of reality. Conclusion of the series. This part brings the story to its haunting and unsettling conclusion. The characters are completely consumed by the entity, their minds fractured, their bodies twisted into a new reality where the boundaries between space, time, and perception have ceased to exist. The entity, once a mysterious signal, is now a force beyond comprehension, and the world as they knew it has vanished. The conclusion leaves viewers with a lingering sense of dread and echo of the entity's voice reminding them that once the door is opened, there is no returning. Elena, the only remaining person, has become part of the entity's endless void, her voice the last remnant of humanity in a world now completely consumed. If you enjoy our videos, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with all the amazing content we have for you. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update, and feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Your support helps us bring even better content to you. Thank you for being part of our growing community.